Hello, my name is JJ and welcome to my latest video on the Lenovo P2. This particular video will highlight some of the annoyances I've experienced since using the P2 as my daily driver for a couple of months now. Before you say it, I understand this is just a mid-range phone, so I'm not expecting flagship performance or standards, and no phone is perfect. You may even find some of the points I'm about to raise as being a little bit petty. You'll probably disagree with some or even all of them. But if you find it useful or interesting, please hit the like, subscribe and leave me any positive comments below. Okay, here's my first annoyance. This is the signal quality. Now as you can see in my Z5 Compact here, I've got my standard SIM, and where I am I can receive a high-speed data connection, not H+, but still fast enough for me to stream high-definition content from YouTube, most importantly voice recognition for Google searching, that sort of thing. Now I'm going to speed this part up just so that you don't fall asleep. I'm swapping the SIM out, putting it straight into the Lenovo P2. Once it loads up, I'm using the exact same app to measure the signal quality, and I'm obviously in exactly the same position, so nothing should have changed in terms of location and signal, etc. Now rather than receiving the high-speed data connection that I had before in the Z5 Compact, as you can see I'm now getting a 3G signal. Now that's quite a difference, because not only does that cripple the use sometimes if I'm in a weak signal area, which is often the case, but it also means I lose a little bit of confidence. So for example, if I'm with somebody who's on the same network as me, I might be thinking, hey, that person can get H or H+ and I'm only getting 3G. Or if that person's getting 3G, I might not get any data connection at all. So I don't think that's really acceptable. My next annoyance is with the speaker placement and how easy it is to muffle the sound. I tend to keep my phone in my front left jeans pocket, so if I pick my phone out of my pocket, my little finger goes at the bottom here to support the phone, and that's exactly where the speaker is. That means if I'm listening to anything, it's really easy to cover that up. I found that quite annoying, and if I compare that to the front-facing speakers of my Z5 Compact, admittedly they're not as loud or as deep in their tone, but they're almost impossible to block up. So even if I put a finger over each speaker, I can still hear it quite comfortably. And obviously in landscape mode you also get a bit of stereo separation as well. Now the next problem I've experienced is particularly annoying. It's when my phone is in standby mode or sleeping. So Doze Mode is kicked in, the phone might be on my desk or in my pocket or something like that, and for whatever reason notifications are not coming through until I unlock the phone. I've experienced it with WhatsApp, with texts, with emails, you name it, even if I've used the workaround whereby, as I mentioned before, if you open the recent apps you can lock the little padlock icon. That still isn't working. As you can see here, I've sent myself an email from Gmail. You can see that it's arrived in my inbox on my Z5 Compact, and as I'm waiting I should be listening and hearing a tone. Nothing's come through. So I unlock the phone, that's a YouTube announcement, nothing to do with the Gmail itself. Still hasn't come through. By now I would have at least expected a notification noise and the unread icon to appear. Nothing. So I'll open the app itself, still isn't there. So in a moment what I'll do is I'll even refresh the app, and as you can see after a few seconds there's the message. Now why didn't that come through immediately? If I go to the recent apps here, you can see that the Gmail app, the icon is in the locked position, so Doze shouldn't have closed that off, and therefore the notification should come through. So that is really annoying to me. Now I'm now going to repeat that test. I'm going to send it from my P2 this time in exactly the same way to my Z5 Compact. And there it is. I'll just blur my name out. Potentially this is something that Lenovo can sort out with an update, but for the time being it's really annoying. Okay, the next problem I have is with the lip sync. Happens on all video apps.
The latest smartphone from LG has just been announced at MWC 2017 in Barcelona, and we've got
so as you can see, the lip syncing was clearly out there on this advert.
Let's start off with this amazing display. It measures in
I'll click through onto the video itself.
When you hear danger zone, does that make you want to jump in your jet, grab Goose, and go hunt down some bogeys or whatever?
Makes me want to jump on my motorcycle.
And it's still out.
Do you and Kenny Loggins know each other?
We kept missing each other. Tonight is the first time that we met each other.
If I pause the video, take it back to the beginning,
Does that make you want to jump in your
sometimes
jet,
that
grab
will stop the
Goose,
lip sync
and
problem
go
happening,
hunt down some bogeys or
but in
whatever?
this case, as you can see, it's not as bad, but it's still
Do you
there.
and Kenny Loggins know each other?
We kept missing each other. Tonight is the first time that we met each other.
This example, I'm using MX Player, which is my video player of choice.
Hey, what's going on here?
Oh, I am busy studying for my LSAT, so Trail is making breakfast. Isn't that sweet?
Oh, does smell pretty good, I gotta be honest. What is it?
It's
And
a
as you can see,
standard English fry, some sizzling bacon, and
the lip sync
I
problem is
tailed it
there as
up
well.
with some blood pudding.
Hard to ruin bacon, but what'll do it?
And by dragging it back,
That's no Zephyr.
or sorry, in this case, going back to the beginning,
Hey, what's going on here?
Oh, I am busy studying for my
Doesn't really
LSAT,
make a
so Trail
difference.
is making breakfast. Isn't that sweet?
so again, it's something that Lenovo
Does smell
should be
pretty
able to
good, I gotta be
sort,
honest. What is it?
but I've had the phone nearly 2
It's a
months,
standard
and I'm
English
fed up
fry,
with
some
all of my
sizzling
videos being out of
bacon,
sync. This next annoyance happens a couple of times a day to me. When I sometimes take my phone from my jeans pocket, I look at the screen and I find that I'm in ultra power saving mode, which is not a mode that I ever use by choice. So what seems to have happened is the button on the side that activates ultra power saving mode seems to have loosened a little bit, and occasionally that just catches on my jeans pocket as I remove the phone. By the time I look at the screen and unlocked it, I can see that I need to flick the switch again to revert it back to the normal mode. This is a bit annoying really, and I can see it getting worse. What I've had to do is adapt slightly how I take the phone from my pocket just to kind of make sure it doesn't happen, but considering that's a button that has no use to me at all, it's proving to be a bit of an annoyance. Now the next annoyance is probably a personal preference thing, so it might not even feel the same to you or affect you in any way. It's to do with the screen technology used and the white point that it creates. So on the left hand side I've got the Lenovo P2 with its excellent Super AMOLED screen. On the right hand side I've got my little Z5 Compact with an LCD screen. Now the Super AMOLED is definitely going to provide very deep blacks, very punchy colours, but warm whites. The LCD screen on the other hand might sacrifice a bit in the punchy colours and the deep blacks, but the whites are usually very bright and very cool. I've set both phones to maximum brightness here, and I've turned auto brightness off as well. Now if you look here on the Google Now page, it probably doesn't recreate it very well, because to my eyes this video now looks like the Sony Xperia Z5C has got a bit of a greeny tinge to it, but in day-to-day use it really hasn't. But for things like web pages when there's a clean white background, I find that the Super AMOLED is just a little too warm. The very best AMOLEDs I've used have been on the Samsung Galaxy S7 and S7 Edge. There was still a slight yellowy tinge to them, but they were particularly good and very nice and very bright. This Lenovo P2 is a good one, but it's not a great one. And I've found that as time has gone by, every time I do a side-by-side comparison or I go to any content that has got lots of white background to it, I just get a little annoyed by the warmth of the white balance on the P2. So by way of an example here, what I'm doing is I'm going to load up an OLED demonstration video from YouTube, run them side by side, just so that you can get a good idea as to whether you feel a good LCD screen, which I think my Z5 Compact has, can compete with a Super AMOLED screen. Now clearly the demonstration video is designed to show off an AMOLED screen, so I don't expect the Z5 to do nearly as well in certain aspects. But I must say, for my eyes, I think the Z5 Compact does a really good job with the blacks and the colours, but it also provides a white point that overall gives a more balanced feel to any content that I'm watching. So it's a minor annoyance, it's a personal preference. Yours might be that you really love an AMOLED screen, so fair enough, no problem, but I thought I'd mention it anyway. I never find myself annoyed with my Z5 Compact because the blacks aren't black enough or the colours aren't vibrant enough, but I do find myself annoyed with an AMOLED screen showing any white content that's just too warm. Now the next annoyance I've experienced is with video recording, and in particular focus hunting. So to recreate the problem that I've experienced on almost every video I've recorded, I'm just going to set the P2 on a table. I'm going to play a video clip in the background on my Z5 Compact and hit record. Now it should lock focus, and bearing in mind this is not a moving subject, it should hold that focus. But as you can see, every few seconds, for no reason that I can fathom, it's actually focus hunting. It's almost confirming to itself that it's got a good focus lock. Now, as you can see from the recorded footage here, that's really quite annoying. The next annoyance is relating to the low volume level that the P2 records in, using a voice recording app or even for video recording. I've set both phones up using the same app, the same distance from my voice, and I'm going to read a short passage from a book. The progress of the day had done nothing to lighten the skies over Trinity College. If anything, the storm raging above Great Court was gathering force. The progress of the day had done nothing to lighten the skies over Trinity College. If anything, the storm raging above Great Court was gathering force. So as you can hear, the recording volume is much higher on the Z5 Compact. Now I don't know whether that phone is a good or bad phone when it comes to recording. I just know that the P2 is much worse. This does affect every video that you might record. It could be fixed by an update, but it is an annoyance. My next annoyance is to do with the lack of support and updates directly from Lenovo. They've been made aware of many of the issues that I've raised today via the Lenovo forums, and although they've answered, none of these have been solved. I've not had a single update since I've owned the phone, which is almost 2 months, despite the fact that it's a newer phone than my Z5 Compact, which I think is approaching 18 months old now. My Z5 is running a newer security update. It's running the latest version of Android 7.0, not 7.1 admittedly, but the P2 is still running Marshmallow 6.0 with no fixed timescale as to when it's going to be updated. So my concerns are that this is a phone that clearly has some glitches, and I'm worried that Lenovo seem to be doing nothing about it. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it interesting or at all useful, then please subscribe if you haven't already, hit the like button and leave any positive comments below. I'm trying to build this new channel up. I've never done anything like this before, so any support you can give me, I'd be really grateful. Until the next video, thanks again.